The house was dressed for Christmas. Not in the warm, imperfect way real families decorate, but in the deliberate, curated way of people who wanted their happiness to look expensive. Soft white lights climbed the staircase. Gold ornaments reflected laughter that sounded practiced. A small string quartet played in the corner, hired to create atmosphere, not emotion. Everything was flawless. Everything was controlled. Lucas Hale stood near the window, a glass of champagne untouched in his hand. He wasn't nervous. He wasn't angry. He was simply watching. "Smile," Claire whispered as she passed him. Not unkindly. Not cruelly. Efficiently. The way someone reminds a waiter about an order. The dining room was full. Claire's parents sat at the head of the table. Her father, Richard Whitmore, already loud from wine and pride. Her mother, Margaret, elegant and distant in a dark green velvet dress. Claire's brother laughed too much. Her sister scrolled her phone, bored. Friends, cousins, colleagues, people who had learned over the years that Lucas didn't require attention. And beside Claire, Ryan Cole. Confident. Well-dressed. Comfortable in a room that clearly believed he belonged there. Claire lifted her glass. "Everyone," she said. The room fell silent instantly. Lucas noticed that. How easily attention bent toward her. "I just want to thank you all for being here tonight," she said warmly. "This year has been transformative." Polite laughter. "And for understanding," she added, pausing just long enough. "That some endings deserve to be celebrated." Applause. Glasses raised. Lucas didn't react. Claire slid a folder across the table toward him. White. Thick. Neatly organized. Divorce papers. No announcement. No lowered voice. Just another item on the table. Richard Whitmore chuckled. "Well," he said loudly, "best to handle these things before the new year, right?" More laughter. Ryan lifted his glass toward Lucas. "To clarity," he said. Lucas met his gaze. And nodded once. He opened the folder. Each page was flagged. Each signature line highlighted. Claire leaned closer. "We agreed tonight would be straightforward," she murmured. Lucas read every page slowly. Not because he needed to. Because silence unsettles people who expect resistance. The table watched him. Waiting. Not for refusal. For surrender. Lucas picked up the pen. He signed. Calm. Measured. Without hesitation. The moment the pen left the page, the tension vanished. Music swelled. Conversation resumed. Claire exhaled, relief flashing briefly across her face. "There," she said, smiling. "That wasn't so difficult, was it?" Lucas closed the folder. "No," he replied evenly. "It wasn't." For a fraction of a second, something shifted. But no one noticed. They were already celebrating, the party continued as if nothing irreversible had just happened. Because for them, nothing had. Claire moved differently now. Freer. Lighter. Her hand rested openly on Ryan's arm. Her laughter was louder, unrestrained. Lucas had become invisible. A formality already processed. He stepped out onto the terrace. Cold air cut cleanly through his lungs. Snow drifted softly from a pale sky. The city below shimmered, indifferent to everything happening above it. His phone vibrated once. A single message. Sent. That was all. No explanation. No follow-up. Inside, Margaret leaned toward Richard. "I never understood what she saw in him," she said quietly. "Decent man," Richard replied, swirling his glass. "But no edge." Ryan laughed nearby. Some people are just built to be managed, he said casually. No one asked where Lucas had gone. No one wondered why he wasn't upset. They confused quiet with weakness. At midnight, gifts were opened. Luxury bags. Watches. Champagne flutes engraved with initials that no longer included Lucas's. Claire raised hers. To the future, she said brightly. Applause echoed around the room. Lucas returned inside. Put on his coat. Claire noticed him at last. Leaving already, she asked, her tone rehearsed with concern. Yes. She tilted her head. You'll be fine, won't you? Lucas met her eyes. I always am. He stepped outside. The door closed behind him. Locked. Laughter filled the house again. And for the first time that night. Everything was exactly where Lucas Hale wanted it. Christmas morning arrived quietly. No music. No laughter. Only the muted hum of heating systems and the distant sound of traffic far below the hills. Lucas woke before dawn. Not because of stress. Not because of regret. Because his body was used to waking before consequences began. His temporary apartment was minimal. No decorations. No photos. Only a clean kitchen, a neatly made bed, and a laptop already open on the dining table. The screen displayed a calendar. Every day until the end of the year had a note attached. At exactly 7:30 a.m., his phone rang. Lucas answered on the first ring. It's done, the voice said. Lucas looked at the window. Snow still falling. Good, he replied. And ended the call. Across the city, Claire woke to sunlight filtering through silk curtains. She stretched. Smiled. For the first time in months, her chest felt light. Ryan was already awake, scrolling through his phone. Morning, he said, leaning over to kiss her cheek. Merry Christmas, Claire replied. She reached for her own phone. No missed calls. No messages. Lucas hadn't tried to contact her. Exactly as expected. Downstairs, the house was still. Margaret's voice echoed faintly from the kitchen. Richard was already dressed, humming. Everything was normal. Everything was secure. Claire poured herself coffee and opened her tablet. She liked checking her accounts in the morning. It made her feel organized. In control, the loading circle spun. Then stopped. A message appeared. Access temporarily unavailable. Please contact your financial institution. Claire frowned. She refreshed. Same message. She tried another account. Then another. Her smile faded. Richard, she called. Did you change something with the accounts? Her father didn't look up. No. Why would I? Claire laughed lightly. Probably the system, she said. Ryan glanced over her shoulder. You want me to take a look? It's fine, she replied quickly. Too quickly. Across the city, Lucas closed his laptop. One task completed. 3 more pending. By noon, Claire's confidence had developed cracks. Not fractures. Cracks. The kind people ignore until something breaks. The bank call had been polite. Too polite. Certain holdings are currently under review, the representative said. Under review? Claire repeated. By whom? I'm afraid I can't disclose that. Ryan tried to reassure her. It's probably related to the divorce, he said. Temporary things always happen. Claire nodded. But her hands had gone still. At 2:15 p.m., her phone buzzed again. This time, it wasn't the bank. It was her assistant. Claire, there's something odd, she said hesitantly. The board meeting scheduled for the 28th, your name isn't on the agenda. Claire stood up. That's impossible, she said. I chair that board. Yes, the assistant replied. But according to the updated documents, you don't. Silence stretched between them. Claire hung up and stared at the wall. Ryan watched her carefully now. You said the divorce was clean, he said. It was, Claire snapped. Then softer, it was. Miles away, Lucas sat in a quiet office. No signage on the door. No personal items on the desk. A man across from him slid a thin folder forward. The timing is precise, the man said. They won't connect it yet. Lucas nodded. They don't need to. That evening, Claire received an email. Subject line. Notice of structural review. No explanation. No apology. Just dates. Deadlines. Signatures she didn't recognize. She forwarded the email to her lawyer. Immediately. Then waited. The reply came 2 hours later. One sentence. We need to talk tomorrow. Claire closed her laptop slowly. For the first time since Christmas dinner. She thought of Lucas. And for the first time. She wondered if signing those papers had really been the end.by. The second day after Christmas, Claire stopped pretending it was a coincidence. Too many things were no longer responding. Her banker. Her assistant. 2 board members who usually replied within minutes. Even the concierge downstairs had started addressing her differently. More formally. More carefully. Her lawyer finally called at 10:47 a.m. Claire answered immediately. You said the agreement was standard, she said, not bothering with greetings. It is, the lawyer replied. That's the problem. Claire closed her eyes. What does that mean? It means the divorce didn't give you control, he said slowly. It confirmed existing structures. What structures? She demanded. The pause on the line was brief, but deliberate. The ones you didn't create, he said. Claire stood and paced the room. You're telling me my access was conditional? I'm telling you, he said, choosing his words carefully. That you benefited from protections you assumed were permanent. At the other end of the city, Lucas reviewed a spreadsheet. Names. Dates. Authorizations. He removed one line. Saved. Claire's phone buzzed again. This time, it was Ryan. They postponed the product launch, he said, trying to sound calm. Said something about revised ownership disclosure. Claire stopped walking. What disclosure? They wouldn't say. The apartment felt suddenly smaller. That afternoon, Claire drove to her parents' house. Margaret listened in silence as Claire explained. Richard interrupted twice. Then stood up. I'll call someone, he said. He made 3 calls. No one answered. Margaret finally spoke. Your husband, she said. Ex-husband, Claire corrected. Margaret nodded once. When did you last speak to him? Claire hesitated. At Christmas. Margaret folded her hands. And before that? Claire didn't answer. Miles away, Lucas sat alone at a restaurant. Not expensive. Not modest. Just quiet. A man approached his table. It's begun, the man said. Lucas took a sip of water. Yes, he replied. It has. Ryan noticed the shift before Claire admitted it. She stopped checking her phone compulsively. Stopped planning. Stopped correcting him. Why don't you just call him? Ryan asked that evening. Claire looked at him. For a long moment. Then turned away. She did call her lawyer again. What exactly did Lucas retain, she asked. Retain, he repeated. He never transferred it. Silence. He structured everything, the lawyer continued, so that operational authority remained with him. That's not possible, Claire said weakly. It is, he replied. And it's legal. Claire sat down. Slowly. Her phone buzzed. An unknown number. She answered. Claire Whitmore, a woman's voice asked. Yes. This is compliance. We're conducting a routine inquiry. We'll need documentation by Friday. Claire swallowed. About what? The pause was professional. Your role, the woman said. In several entities you're no longer listed in. That night, Ryan packed a bag. Not dramatically. Efficiently. I just need space, he said. Claire didn't argue. She didn't ask where he was going. Across the city, Lucas stood at his window. Snow had stopped. The streets were clear. His phone buzzed. Another message. Complete. Lucas turned off the lights. Claire sat alone in her apartment. Surrounded by things she no longer controlled. And for the first time, she understood that what she had mistaken for generosity had been structure. Claire found out about the meeting by accident. An automated calendar notification appeared on her tablet at 6:12 a.m., then vanished seconds later. But she had seen it. Extraordinary board review, 9 a.m. No location. No dial-in link. No invitation. She dressed carefully. Not because she expected to attend. Because appearances still mattered, to her. At 9:03 a.m., she called her assistant. There's a board review this morning, Claire said evenly. Yes, the assistant replied. And why wasn't I notified? A pause. Then, cautiously. Because you're no longer listed as a voting member. Claire hung up without another word. By noon, rumors reached her. The restructuring wasn't temporary. It wasn't procedural. It was permanent. Legal counsel had been present. External auditors. Compliance officers. Every decision unanimous. She called her lawyer again. I want to challenge it, she said. On what grounds, he asked. On the grounds that I built that company. You built visibility, he replied. You didn't build ownership. Claire closed her eyes. When did this happen, she asked. The answer came softly. Years ago. Across town, Lucas sat at the far end of a long conference table. He hadn't spoken yet. He didn't need to. The document spoke for him. One of the executives cleared his throat. All operational authority remains unchanged, he said. Lucas nodded. That was all. By evening, Claire's name had been removed from 2 websites. By night, 3 articles appeared online. Neutral in tone. Correct in detail. Unforgiving in implication. Claire stared at the screen. This wasn't revenge. It was erasure. Ryan never called. Not that night. Not the next morning. His silence was clean. Complete. Claire stopped waiting for apologies. Started waiting for confirmation. Her final meeting was with a senior partner at the firm that had once welcomed her enthusiastically. He didn't offer coffee. He didn't sit. I won't waste your time, he said. We're adjusting our exposure. To what? Claire asked. To uncertainty. She stood. You're choosing him, she said. He didn't correct her. When she returned home, the apartment felt staged. Like a model unit. Nothing personal. Nothing permanent. Her phone buzzed once that night. A notification. Account closed. No explanation. No appeal. She finally called Lucas. The line rang. Once. Twice. Then voicemail. She didn't leave a message. For the first time, she understood that silence wasn't absence. It was policy. Miles away, Lucas deleted a contact. Then closed his phone. The year was ending. And Claire Whitmore finally understood. Christmas had never been the moment she lost him. It was the moment he stopped protecting her. Claire stopped fighting outcomes. She started looking for doors. There were very few left. The cafe was not chosen for comfort. It was chosen for neutrality. No regulars. No private rooms. No leverage. Lucas arrived exactly on time. Alone. He didn't look different. That unsettled her more than anger would have. "Thank you for meeting me," Claire said. Lucas nodded. She waited for something else. An expression. A question. Nothing came. "I didn't know," she said finally. Lucas looked at her. For the first time in weeks, really looked. "I know," he replied. She leaned forward. "You could have warned me." "Yes," he said. "I could have." Silence settled between them. Claire tried again. "You wanted me to suffer." "No," Lucas said calmly. "I wanted you to stop using what wasn't yours." She swallowed. "You planned this." "I prepared," he corrected, her voice dropped. "There's nothing left." Lucas considered that. "Then there's nothing more to protect," he said. She straightened. "What do you want from me?" Lucas stood. "I already have it." He placed a single document on the table. "Not a contract. A receipt." "For what?" she asked. "For the end," he said. Lucas left. Claire stayed. The year ended quietly. No public downfall. No headlines screaming her name. Just absence. Claire moved out of the apartment. Sold what she could. Returned invitations unopened. She saw Lucas once more. From across a street. He was speaking to someone. Smiling. Not kindly. Not cruelly. Just, complete. She realized then. Lucas had never taken anything from her. He had only stepped away. And without his structure. Everything collapsed. At midnight, fireworks lit the city. Claire watched alone. The sound distant. Muted. Elsewhere, Lucas raised a glass. Not to victory. Not to revenge. But to clarity. Some losses are loud. Others are silent. And the quiet ones are final.